And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.
They've done it! They've done it! It's Maguire Crew! They've done it against this team!
Grimsby are heading back to the Football League.
Love it.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the DN35 podcast. I am under the weather, so if I sound hoarser than usual, you'll understand. We are joined by Mike in his office. Hello, Mike. How are you?
Hiya, mate. I'm all right. How are you? What's wrong?
Nothing. I've just got a cold.
Oh,
I hope it's cold. But if not, well, I'm in Westminster on Wednesday, so, you know, I'll shake hands with people.
Keep going, pal. Keep going.
Yeah, there's no need for anything else. Fedders is here. He's on his way home from wherever he was. This is the extent people go to watch town games on the internet.
Hola.
Where are you now? The M62?
I'm just going to make sure that the driver takes a turn on the M62. He's had about 4 hours sleep in 3 nights. So I just need to make sure that we're just about to pick up the M62, mate. All good, thank you. A bit tired.
Good stuff.
But yeah, not self-inflicted rough.
and making his debut on the pod. Sam, how are you? Welcome to the podcast. It's great to have you along.
Thanks for having me on. You must be daft as anything to invite me on, I'll be honest, but it's great to be here.
That's all right. We will continue the Red Bull slagging off later because that is far better. So if you're a Max Verstappen fan, there isn't any of them. Look, we kind of had a chat about Carlisle on Tuesday evening, and if you've never done so on Twitter, on a Tuesday night or something when there isn't really a football forum, we'll quickly jump on Twitter. Everyone can have their thoughts on what it was. I was more pessimistic than most. I thought it was a bit shit. I didn't think we did particularly well. I thought we were pretty poor, and I think Carlisle were quite happy to keep us at arm's length, and they did that pretty well. And from what I hear, it was a pretty makeshift Carlisle team. But we won't dwell on that because Salford came along. And it sounded like we were slightly makeshift after Paul Hurst's interview. And the Mariners came out with a point and in a place where we never really get much luck. Mike, what were your thoughts? What did you make of the game? And for once, a decent ref.
Yeah, I thought the ref was all right, actually. Yeah, it was makes a change logging on Twitter on a Saturday and not seeing you having a go about a referee, so that was nice. I think the first half of the first half, I think it was a similar story. I think we rode our luck a bit. We were a bit slow, but I think as the first half went on, we battled back into it, rode our luck a bit with a good Max Crocombe save. I know he said Max Verstappen then. A good Max Crocombe save. Got back into it, took our chance, and I think second half, I think we were the more dominant team in terms of chance creation and ball retention and things like that. So I think we got a deserved point. I think on the balance, you could probably say we probably deserved more just on the chances we missed compared to Salford. What I did notice in the first half, though, and again, it's a bit of a similar theme to start the game, is I didn't like where we were losing possession of the ball. Particularly Hunt was losing possession of the ball quite a lot in the middle of the park. And I think we were quite lucky to only be 1-0 down when we got back into it. But away from home, you have to ride your luck. I think we did that well. Battled back into it. Deserved point. Should have got more, I think.
Well, there we go.
Good night.
We're done. So we thought Bruce is, he's cutting in and out. So we'll leave him for a second. Sam, how did you think of it? What did you think of the performance? I can't even get my words out. Were you happy with the point?
Yeah, I agreed with Mike, really. It reflects with the way we've played all season, really. We're pretty solid defensively. We don't give much away. Crocombe makes decent saves when he has to. We maybe weren't quite solid because Waterfall was under the weather. according to Hursty. But we just lack that. When going forward, we had loads of potential openings. Like there was the moment when sort of Kiernan cleverly sort of flicked it through and Harry put the ball across. I'm not quite sure how Danilo Orsi scored 20 goals for Maidenhead. He doesn't look like he can finish his dinner so far as I can make out. But we just lack that little bit of quality in those key moments. And that was the case against, going back to the Carlisle game. There was a moment after we got one back, it looked like we might equalise and even win the game, but we just lacked a bit of quality in those key areas. Yeah.
I mean, that is an introduction. I'm going to throw shade on Danilo Orsi straight away. That's strong. Bruce, are you going to talk about your hatred for Harry Clifton or anything like that? How did you make of it?
No, all positive, mate. I thought it was a good game. We took over a very kind lady, let us plug our laptop into a telly, and we kept buying plenty of beer. And I thought it was a good performance after a
pretty poor one against Carlisle on Tuesday night. I'll just fill in for him. He's gone. The M62 has failed us. Oh well. Look, I thought it was an interesting game. I thought Salford are pretty robust, and they're obviously going to be the right end of the table this year, given their performances of late. And I thought Town acquitted themselves pretty well. And considering
another,
oh hello, he's back. I'm muting him. I can't mute him.
Did somebody just get in front of him?
It's not letting me mute him. There we go. I thought given it was a pretty makeshift side, I thought a back three was pretty interesting. I think it did pretty well. And if let's talk about one of the rumours. The rumours we have at old DN35 Towers is there is perhaps an opportunity that Ryan Bennett might actually be making a sign-in and joining Town towards the end of next week, perhaps. And
can
if
he play up front?
is the back three where the future lies? Did we keep us shape with it?
Not according to Thursday. He basically said in his interview afterwards, didn't see something along the lines of, "Is it a shape I would have gone with? I didn't have to." Probably not. So I think that gives you an idea that we're not going to see it very much anymore. He's never played it anywhere else, has he?
No, he hasn't. I mean, I was listening to him. He was saying that, it was so late that like he was giving them all their instructions on a tactics board before the game. So I think for something so last minute, I think we did well to limit Salford to one goal away from home. So maybe it's something you might want to have a look at, especially if Alex has got his finger on the pulse, and that's a DN35 exclusive. What I would say about Danilo Orsi, I know he does look a lot off the pace, and that's probably because of the amount of game time he's got. Like there was a couple of good chances he should have put away, but I sort of put that down to getting up his match fitness, and hopefully if he starts playing games he might start scoring. Now I don't want to use a phrase that might get Matt Newton trolling me on Twitter saying one brings two, but I do get the sense if he gets match fit and starts scoring some goals, then we'll see the best of him.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not quite sure how he missed that one. We sort of curled it round the back post. I think there's a decent player in there. As I said, he scored a load of good. It may be a confidence-related thing as much as anything. But I'm not writing him off. I was just kind of alluding to the fact he's finishing so far has been questionable, should we say?
I think the keeper did well. I think the keeper did well with that one. It sort of came to him a bit slow, and by the time it got to him, the keeper had closed the angle down. I must say, watching the game, I thought their keeper really struggled with anything that went into the box, which sort of says most of our opportunities came from set pieces. I know we had those three corners right after each other, and two of those I don't know how they didn't go in. But yeah, they looked dodgy when the ball was thrown into the box.
Yeah, we clearly worked on it, hadn't we? But the putting men right on the keeper, it's a mystery to me how we didn't keep it. Well, that comment there's just reminded me. Off the lasers, I thought Richardson did quite well. I thought Khan looks a decent player. Bim, again, also to me looks a bit off the pace and will have to improve a lot of his elements of his game to have a career at Luton. But he's a young lad. He just looked a bit lost. There's something to it. He created that goal at Walsall, for example.
I think Khan's probably been. I think I've been really impressed with what I've seen from him so far. He's not played a lot of football this season either, and I think he looks like he's got something different. He wants to run with the ball with pace, and he's not frightened to take people on. I like what I've seen from him.
And he's got 2 feet as well, which isn't usual at this level.
One of the rare bits of sort of quality that we had the other night on Tuesday. He got the ball sort of just outside the centre circle, heading towards the pontoon, and he's got a real low centre of gravity, and he sort of did a 360 and sort of he sort of just left a couple of their players for dead. Really turned in a real tight circle, and it was it's like I say, it's something that we've not had.
I mean, technically, he's very good. And I've been very impressed. If he gets the ball into feet, he's always trying to create something. I think if he can stay fit, and hopefully it was nothing too serious at the weekend, if he can stay fit, then he's going to be a good outlet for us. And just thinking of Peppel, yeah, he looks off the pace, and he looks like he needs some experience. But having watched quite a few strikers play for Town, whilst he's not been great in terms of his return and chance created, he is always causing problems, which sometimes you see strikers that are out of form and a game passes them by. At least with Peppel, they've got something to think about, and he creates a bit of panic in their defence as well as our forward line. So I think at least he's got that going for him.
Yeah, he's definitely got something. I'd agree with Bruce about Khan. He's a real improvement on anything else we've got, and I think showed why Hursty was keen to pay a fee for him. And also shows how good our Orients are. They were happy to let him go.
What are we? Jack Brighton says justice for Maguire Drew. Maguire Drew's great, Jack, but I don't think he helped against Carlisle. I think he left the Fetty pretty open at times on that right hand side. And I think he's still guilty of not tracking back when needed, though he does put more effort in. I think he's more of an impact guy rather than a starting 11 sort of bloke. But we'll see, and I'm sure I'll be proved wrong. What were your hopes going into the Salford game, and what we were in terms of? It's a pretty tough fixture. We did all right, and we sort of came away with the point. It stopped the rot. 2 defeats on the bounce before that. Was it what we were? Was it sort of performance? I took a lot away from it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a decent point and a decent game.
Yeah, I mean, I think before the game, you're looking for a reaction for losing 2 on the bounce, and I think we got that. I mean, starting a tough away game and going behind so early, you start to think, oh, crikey, is this going to be 3 on the bounce? So I think turning it around and getting back onto the undefeated, getting another game undefeated, especially with all the makeshift changes and going behind early, I was really impressed with the overall performance. And a point away at Salford is a good point. And one thing I'll say about this team, whilst sometimes we've had problems in creating and keeping the ball and moving the ball, we're always competitive, I think, and I think we'll be competitive against any team in this league, which is a really good thing.
Yeah, I'd agree that nobody's outplayed us. Even Orient runaway leaders, it took them a dodgy penalty and a worldie to beat us. What I would say about it, it's a good point in isolation. I think now we need to go and back it up by beating Crawley, and then hopefully I'd take a point to Stockport as well. But won't look so good. It's kind of then it's an isolated point against basically 4 defeats over the other side of it. But I agree, kind of in isolation, it's a good point.
And we're playing Crawley on Thursday, right? Is that right, Alex? Thursday?
Look, you lot can moan and whinge about it as well. But if you want to organise a podcast, you're more than welcome to.
Oh, mate,
I'm the one arranging the interviews, doing all the promotion, and I get nothing but grief. And I'm doing it when I'm sick. And what can I say?
It was a brilliant effort.
Look, we got somebody. I don't see anybody else bringing anyone to the table. I don't see anyone on our WhatsApp offering themselves up to come on the podcast every now and then.
I asked around last night. But I couldn't find any Crawley fans in Bilbao.
No. Well, thanks very much, Bruce, because we've got one ready to go. and they're live in the room.
Is he in Bilbao?
He's not in Bilbao. That's Tom's job, isn't it? Might play in the smaller
What a seamless
violin.
link, though.
Seamlessly. Look, I don't know what else to say. It was a decent point. I've got nothing to I'm like Alan Shearer. I've got no actual points to make about the game. It was a point.
No,
well
I meant
done.
me. I meant me saying about Crawley, about they trying to find a fan, and you said you've got one. That was the link. That was. Oh, this. That bloke was right last week. This is amateurish, isn't it? This.
Well, he had a point. He had a point. He definitely had a point.
He's got lots of Twitter accounts.
Well, let's not go into that.
Yeah, speak to our lawyers before we go into any more of that.
We need a lawyer first. I
know
find
a
our
law
lawyers.
graduate. Maybe you can help us.
I know who you work for, Sam. I'm not using those lawyers. Look, let's bring in a gentleman from Crawley. Yes, Bruce is right. We found one. His name, he wants to go as entitled.
Hi.
Go sort of, reaching back to where Sam works. But let's. Sorry, that's it. I'm done. I'll stop it. It sounds like I'm back. Nice to meet you, mate. Welcome to the show. How are things going down on the M23?
To put it very bluntly, it is going as bad as it can. And I think I'd rather be a Rochdale fan at this point, even though they're rock bottom. Even though there's no stability about what's going on the pitch. There's some questions off the pitch about ownership and everything, but it's a very dire situation for the club at the minute.
Is this to be expected? I mean, you've got a half decent team in place. I can't remember who the guy from League One that came in, but you've got a couple of our guys, Jake Hessenthaler and James Tilley and stuff. They were where they were there. And who was the bloke who you got that banged in a load of goals last season?
Mr. Dom Telford himself, who's got a grand total of 1 goal in 11 games.
Hey, with that sort of record, we'll be on his gate. We'll be on his case. Don't you worry about it. What's the reason behind the drop in form? Because what did he get last time round?
I think he got about 23 goals last season, if I'm not wrong.
Wow.
I might be mistaken. No worries. But yeah, we actually haven't been starting him. We've been playing Addison and Nichols ahead of him. The reason why for our sort of drop in form is that Betsy Ball really isn't working in our eyes. I think the sort of Arsenal under 21 experience that he brings to League Two doesn't quite marry up with our players. He's playing wing backs in a sort of 5-3-2 formation when it's not really supposed to be so pacey. It's more of a physical league, and I don't think Betsy's quite got that.
It's and sort of ownership aside, what were your aspirations into to this season? Really, what were you hoping for?
I think like most of Crawley fans were sort of hoping for a top 10 finish, something for because we always finish 12. We've finished 12 consecutive seasons now, back to back, and to build on what we've had now with departed Yems and with a new manager with fresh legs in, with quite experienced players in Dom Telford, Chukwuemeka, and so on and so forth. We thought we could really make a push, but it's quite the contrast, really.
And what are you? What were they? Now it's sort of struggled. Is this going to be? Does it feel like this is the season, or do you just feel like it's just not clicking at the moment, and it's just not falling into place? But there is signs that there's more there than what the position suggests.
I think.
Helpful.
All right. I think the tactics aren't quite sort of resonating with the players as we've got now. We've got a great amount of players with a lot of skills and a lot of experience behind them. And Betsy's lack of experience in the football league and in the first team is really quite telling. I think having a win percentage across all competitions of 19% is not quite sort of our standard, and I think it's relegation form, really, to be honest with you. And 23 goals conceded in the last 16 games. I mean, there's questions about our defensive injuries, lack of strikers. I mean, your boy Harry Clifton has got 4 goals, and that's the total of our 2 top goal scorers in the league in Balagizi and Tilley. So it's not looking good at the moment.
Well, the thing is, though, Harry Clifton is a goal machine, and we always knew he had it in him. What are your thoughts on the ownership and where it's going? Do you think this is good for the club?
I think. Well, I've actually had quite a few conversations with the owners and the sort of admins of Wagme United. They come across really well. I think they have a lot of ideas, a lot of aspirations, and they're good-minded. They're not doing anything to inspire the club. However, sort of with the bullish attitude that they carry in the sort of NFT crypto space, well, cryptocurrency space, I should say, it's not really sort of. They came in with a lot of animosity into the club already, who weren't sort of confident on the whole idea of carrying NFTs and the whole spiel of funding in for the club. I think quite a lot of conversations with the old sponsors, old owners actually, making some controversial tweets on Twitter. A lot of back and forth going on with all the fans and old people of Crawley and the ownership. I think it's quite a turbulent time for all of us. But with the owners, they've got a lot of good ideas, but we've pushed back as fans on a lot of bad ideas as well. They do listen to us, but I don't think they've quite communicated their ideas in the way that they should have done. And I think it's a sort of baptism of fire for them.
What's the sort of overall consensus of your fans then, mate? Because I mean, looking from the outside as somebody that's not paying too much attention, just seeing the bits you see on social media and stuff, it does all look a little bit worrying from a club that's had problems with owners in the past. So, like, what's the sort of fan base's consensus? Are they warming to the different way they seem to want to do things, or is it still very much guarded on that?
So with the local fans and there's actually sort of factions within the fan base now, where there's new fans who carry NFTs. We call them the holders, and then the local fans who have been supporting Crawley for decades on. There's sort of quite a bit of a rift going on between the two groups. The local fans don't like the owners. They haven't really welcomed them as much as I personally would have, but I've given them a chance, and I'm willing to wait a little bit. It is 4 months deep into their ownership stint, and a lot of the holders of the NFTs are quite confident that the project can be a success still. The local fans are just sort of writing it off. People asking, can we have a new CEO, someone who knows football, actually, the ins and outs of Football League. And I think with the recent news of like the Sidemen collaboration and everything else to do with like the Papa John's Pizza Trophy, where the sort of fans can pick their own lineup, was quite a very difficult thing for local fans and diehard fans to digest, because it seems like, where's football going? Are we not respecting the Football League or the FA Cup, for example?
You don't have to respect the Papa John's Trophy. It's absolutely fine. Do what you want in it.
Yeah, but they did we did push back on it, and they did rescind their idea and their sort of concept behind it. But I think the communication side is not going well for them. But they've brought in a new community manager now, so they're making headway and sort of repairing the relationship between the local fans and the ownership group.
Do you think though that? Oh, sorry, Mike.
Sorry, I was just going to say.
No,
do you think
no, I'm muting you. No. Do you think some of the ideas that they've come in, they're a bit disruptive, but they like, for example, the NFT thing you had to use to buy the third kit. Did it raise 3 million?
A lot of rumors have been going around
Mike.
That the NFTs that were sold sort of literally bankrolled the club. So it's like they paid the money, then they got the money back. But yeah, 3 million is the number that's floating around. It seems accurate, actually, because they've sold about 10,000, about 200 £300 a pop. I actually bought one myself, to be honest with you, and it comes with a lot of benefits rather than just a free shirt. There's like free tickets which you can come to the game. Fans have been utilizing that as well. There's also a lot of merchandise, lots of say in the club, good FaceTime with the owners, amongst other things. That's just from the top of my head, but it does carry quite a few benefits in terms of the NFT. But the concept is not exactly welcomed 100% within the local fan base.
Do you think that's because these new, well, you're bracketing them both in the same, the new fans and the fans from away, but for me, they, your local fans, your loyal, your hardcore, that if this all goes wrong, they're the ones that'll be left. Whereas these people that are, from away that don't come to games and stuff like that, then they'll just move on to something else, won't they? So I can understand people being concerned because, if you do drop out of the league, it's a very tough league to get on, and obviously historically you are traditionally. What sort of crowds do you get now?
We got 2,700 on Saturday.
And is that up?
Hang on, I'm checking to see who they played.
We played Stevenage.
Okay, fine. Oh my word, that's a game and a half, isn't it?
The Steve Evans derby.
Oh,
Steve Evans derby. He had good things to say about us, which is nice. But
the only guy who has ever been kicked out of Blundell Park by police mid-game, which says a lot. But yeah, sorry, he had a lot of nice things to say. Was the buffet good? Was it?
I don't know. Oh, dude. But 2,700 was the crowd yesterday. It's sort of the average number now. But at the start of the season, we were quite hopeful. We were putting in 3,000, 4,000 crowds, and then we kind of lost our support after our amazing form of 9 losses in 16. 1 win in 11 in the league. Most goals conceded. 90% win percentage. It's not good, is it? The numbers are telling.
Don't worry. Gillingham came to us having not scored away all season and got them kick-started their season from there. If there's any way your season will get kick-started, it'll be next Saturday, mate.
Can I ask you a question as well that's a bit more locally, because I'm sort of around this similar area. Is there any concerns that because of Crawley's location, it could pick up quite a few floating fans from the area? Have there ever been any concerns that you've lost the little local cute tag because of this and the rise of sort of Dorking? Or is that just something I'm making up?
To be honest with you, I don't know where that's come from.
That's just really me thinking about it, because you're relatively close and they're sort of now propelling themselves up the league, and they could be a local derby the way things are going next season, couldn't it?
I mean, it's
I'm
funny,
sorry, man. That's really cold. I'm sorry, but
that's not right.
You just condemned them to relegation. That's
so early on, disgusting. But no, funny thing actually, we have the town has a public Facebook page called Spotted Crawley. There's sort of a page that sort of gives updates in around the town, which is quite wholesome, in fact. And then a post went out a couple of days ago that Three Bridges, which is still Crawley. It's just a little 3 miles
just a
down
train
the road.
station, isn't it?
Basically, yeah, but it's an area. It's an area.
So me and Mike are doing Sussex references now, aren't we? We're happy with ourselves. Yeah, sorry, what were you going to say?
They were in the third qualifying round of the FA Cup, so they were 1 game away from playing in the first round. So it could have been a Crawley versus Three Bridges derby, very much so. And we'll probably get our asses handed to us. But they lost 3-0, I think. But yeah, Three Bridges might come up and sort of thrash us the next 5 years. Who knows? At this rate,
it's a really interesting. What are your hopes for? You don't sound too optimistic. I'll be honest. You sound like us 2019, 2020. What are your aspirations for our game? What are you going into this game with a bit of trepidation then, or are you hoping that hang on, this is a team that we're not firing on all cylinders at home, so you've got an opportunity here to take a surprise win, I guess?
Well, to be honest with you, when I was at the Stevenage game yesterday, the first half, poor. We should have conceded 3, to be honest with you. They hit the crossbar. They scored a lovely goal. They've had a few chances as well, very close, and we should have been done and dusted there and then. But in the second half, we were really good. We actually pushed forward, and we looked like we could have got something out of the game. I think their goal for their penalty was very unfair, because we had a handball claim that the ref didn't give. I think the referee was terrible as much as League 2 refs go. It's
hang on, who was it? It sounds like Trevor Kettle.
His name, yeah.
I can't remember for the life of me. But no.
I bet it was Declan Bourne, wasn't it? It was Declan Bourne.
Or Hertzkirk.
Declan Bourne doesn't do down south, does he? Those lucky bastards. Sorry, bastards. Let's have a look. You keep sorry, man. Keep chatting, and I'll Google it.
That's all right. Yeah, no. I think I've more or less given up on the Grimsby game. I think there's actually rumors circling around that Betsy's got 7 days, and I think Grimsby is the sort of make or break for him if he does survive in the midweek right now. I think also I've not been convinced. Really, I've been a staunch defender of Betsy in the first 10 games of the season. I thought because we're not losing actually by a big margin. We're losing by one goal actually, and then Doncaster happened, and that's when I sort of decided to question faith of Betsy's tactics. And the Stevenage game, we made 3 subs in the 85th minute when we just conceded, and it just made no sense. Like that's 85 minutes on 11. That besides an injury in the first half to our left back, it does not enough rotation, not enough effective tactics, and Grimsby again, last ditch attempt for him to keep his job. But besides, if anything less than a win, he's gone 100%.
The Grimsby Reaper threatens again.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, we've got a thing called the Grimsby Reaper, and it's got a long list of sackings after people have played against us. And we might have 2 in a week because we've got yourselves coming up, and then we've got Stockport, whose manager's on borrowed time apparently in some quarters. Yeah,
we'll have that twat Challoner as well.
We're going to lose both games. Go with ultimate pessimism, and then you'll never be disappointed.
Well, last week we had the 2 guys on building up last week's games, didn't they? And they were bigging up the teams. I thought we were playing Atletico and Real Madrid or something, and they both beat us. So maybe you need to be a bit more bullish, perhaps.
If Will Finney was the ref. I don't think we've had him yet. Daniel Lewis wants to know: do you miss Matt Tubbs? Bruce's
I miss Matt Tubbs with my heart. I also miss Max Waters. I think he should have never gone to Cardiff, but the money was just too good. I mean, 1 million for him to go to Cardiff was sort of like just grab the money and go. But if we had someone like Max Waters now, I think it would have been great. But I think a striker is not really our main priority, even though we are lacking in goals. I think a new manager coming in who knows the Football League will ultimately give our team a right kick up the bum, go for it, and actually be more physical, because we've got quite a physical team, and we're not afraid to sort of shit house in terms of wins and the leagues. We were considered the bogey team for the last 2 seasons, and I think we've lost that reputation in 11 games. It's horrible. I miss it, but yes, I do miss Matt Tubbs entirely.
Crawley away has been an nadir of support in town at times. In fact, Bruce, you'll know, did Russell Slade get sacked after the game at Crawley when we lost 3-0? He did. Sam's saying he did.
Thank you, Sam. I wouldn't have had a clue.
Crawley was also seen of our first game in non-league when Lee Peacock scored from a free kick, and it was great. We're going to walk this. We're going to be promoted by Christmas. How wrong could we be?
That's 7 years later.
Commonly known as the Scunthorpe paradox. That win your first game.
The Scunthorpe paradox. I'll write an essay on that.
Scunthorpe paradox is just winning, isn't it?
Then we lost 5-0 at Braintree a few weeks later, and that was reality hit home.
What was the season after? I think
that was the season after, wasn't it?
I think that was the season after, because I think that was under.
Oh, was it? Sorry.
That's all right.
And then we drew 0-0 at home to York, and then we lost at home to Hayes and Yedding in the 3rd game. I remember it clearly. And then it all dawned on us, a bit like when Scully lost at Maidenhead, I think it was, or Woking, or some other non-league outfit, and it dawned on me, we're never going to get out of here.
It's I'm sure he would like to be here for this conversation. What are you? I assume you'll be 2-0 up though, given James Tilley and Hessenthaler is around. How's Hess doing? Is he all right?
Lovely. I love the man. Hessenthaler, Nick Cerula, James Tilley, Tony Craig. Love the guys. It's just everyone else not doing the job. Like Nadesan, who has not been hit, who's not done anything, honestly, in this season. I think being as a tall 6'1" man himself should be winning aerial headers. It's just not looking good.
Who was that last one? Did you say Tony Crane?
Tony Craig.
Oh, okay, fine. I thought you said Tony Crane. I was like, oh my God, he's back.
I thought he said Tony.
That was 3-0, Alex, wasn't it? That was a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, so this was it, Bruce. So we beat Crawley, then we drew at home to York, then lost to Hayes and Yedding,
Thank you.
which would have been and then we lost 4-1 to Rushden and Diamonds as well.
Wow.
Rushden and Diamonds, my God.
We've
Look
played
at some
them
of these.
in the league, though. Rob Jones got sent off at Rushden Diamonds after the final whistle one afternoon.
Look at some of these teams we played that season: Fleetwood, Tamworth, Histon. Oh dear, God.
We beat Histon. We mugged him on New Year's Day or something, didn't we? Or was it just after Christmas?
It was in that weird little flurry, wasn't it, when we got a load of random games that we could put on DVD.
Rob Eagle scored from the halfway line.
Yes. What was so what is your prediction? I'm slightly worried. I'll be honest, mate. I'm slightly worried about you here. It's what's the prediction for Saturday? Apparently it's Saturday.
Yeah, it is Saturday, yeah. I am going to go with a nice 2-1.
To whom?
To Grimsby.
Oh, good. Oh, look at that. There we go. Sorted.
Sorry.
We'll shake hands on it and we'll do it there. That's it.
No worries.
Don't even have
Good
to
luck
play
on
it.
Saturday.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you, mate. Thank you very much for joining us. It's been brilliant. And hope everything turns the corner for you shortly because, hey, Crawley's a cracking away day. I can just park the car, watch the game and bugger off pretty quickly. And it doesn't cost me shit all to park.
Feelings mutual. Feelings mutual.
There we go.
Take care.
Thank you, mate. Oh, my God, the poor guy. I feel sorry for him.
Well, could you imagine if one of us towns had to go on like a similar one? Say someone had been doing this during the relegation season, and they were going on the equivalent of DN35 around the country. Could you imagine what we'd have been saying, or what you guys would have been saying? You'd have been as I don't know. You couldn't have said anything positive. There'd be nothing to say that was positive.
I'll be honest. I don't think they could have broadcast half of what Alex would have said.
They do. The fool.
It's a good job I wasn't on the night we got relegated.
Yeah. Well, what can I say? I think Crawley's a huge opportunity, isn't it? Then if that's their feeling and that's the feeling amongst their fan base, I mean, this stinks of Town 0, Crawley 1 and the first faint shouts of first out, doesn't it?
94th minute dodgy penalty. I can see it now.
Doesn't it? Mike, am I being too pessimistic?
I think you are, mate. I think it's a cracking opportunity as always. We're going to batter them. I do like the idea of the Grim Reaper turning up on Saturday. Not against Betsy. I mean, I have nothing against him, but if we could get 2 in a row and get Challoner out as well, the twat, that'd be great.
He'll go for his hat trick. Who have we got after that? Has the Grim Reaper ever got a hat trick?
Oh, we'll have them all.
Well, it'd be 3-4, wouldn't it? Because Colchester's manager got the boot a couple of weeks ago, so it'd be 3 within the space of a month.
And Stockdale early in the season.
Did Stockdale not last another game after all? Or...
I don't know. Let's have a
No,
look.
he didn't.
We've got Bradford after that. Oh, if we got rid of Mark Hughes, that'd be very funny. Daniel Lewis says they'll come, sit back, make it hard. They'll keep us shape. And Andrew Niles is very much more positive. 5-0 to Town on Saturday. He's good in for it. Bruce, I don't know if you can hear us. What are your thoughts for Saturday? Blunder Park back to the rafters. How was it against Carlisle as well, which is a really decent, really good sort of gesture of how the crowds are going and stuff at home?
There's been quite a lot of comment made about the crowds and not the crowds. The crowds have been excellent, but the atmosphere. And I think you've been a staunch advocate of doing something to try and make the atmosphere better at home. And I do think it needs it because this season the loudest part of the ground's been the Osmond Corner. I don't know whether it's got the acoustics or whether it's because of the people who are buying the tickets in there. We've got these new we've got new fans that are buying season tickets, and where I am in the lower, there's a lot more families and things like that. So I think perhaps those that want to sing and sing a lot perhaps do need some help in coming back or been put in a certain area or something like that, because the atmosphere has been flat. And I know you would say the players need to give them something to cheer about, but I think it works both ways, doesn't it? As well, the players can definitely get a raise from the fans, and it has been when they've needed their help. It has been generally quite quiet, and like I say, the crowds have been excellent, and I'm sure at the weekend again the Osman corner was, both those blocks were sold out a day before Tuesday.
Well, yeah. Bye, Alex. What I would say for the Northampton game, even though it went behind, that was the best atmosphere. I mean, I went to most of the early home games before I got deported down to the south here. But we've never been very rowdy in the main stand, to be honest. So I'm not sure I'm the kind of the fairest gauge for this one. But against Northampton, when we were kind of really pushing them back, it was really good. But it was flat against Sutton. I mean, that was just an awful game. But it I don't know, is there a way you could kind of manufacture some singing sections? I mean, I know that sounds a bit contrived and cheesy, but...
No, I'm absolutely for you, Sam. I think what we should have done is the away fans should have gone in the corner where the home fans are, and that part of the Osmond should have been made a permanent area for town fans to go to sing and make an atmosphere. They should have done their best to pull them people there. I'd have even moved the family stand and move that to the pontoon, because the pontoon is effectively a posh family stand now. And I'd have moved them in there, and I'd have got, I'd have put a drum, tried to get a drum, because I think we missed a drum. That when that conference, I think everybody harps back to that conference season of 2015-16 and the season before. And it was, I think, was it Bruce? Was it Gilly with the drum? Because he was phenomenal, and it just kept everybody going. And I think we missed that.
I'm not sure, mate, but there certainly was that. But again, those games, I think we've talked about it before, that it became fashionable at the time for. We had a lot of teenagers. We had a lot of teenagers at those games, especially away from home, and that's when the numbers for me drastically went up. Probably the season, like you say, probably the Bristol Rovers season when we lost in the playoff final, or even the season before that. You suddenly went to away games, and I know we're talking about home games, and there was 200 or 300 young lads, and they all wanted to sing and they all wanted to make a noise, and I think they did around that time. They did congregate towards the back of the pontoon, and they've sort of moved up now and moved on and to doing whatever else, and like you say, they came together almost by accident, because it became the trendy thing to do away from home, and obviously that sort of carried into home games as well. But I think you're right. I think we need to try and improve the atmosphere, and I think it's probably because at the moment people have been moved all around the ground to try and find seats, and like you say, families have plonked in amongst groups where where groups where you would sort of like where we are for where we sit towards the Osmond end of the lower. When we're playing Bradford or anybody like that, where it's a bit lively and the atmosphere is a bit more on edge, then we used to be, it would be rammed with lads down at our end just singing at the opposition fans. But nobody moves around now. Nobody can pick and choose where they're going to sit, because there's that limited choice. So, like I say, season ticket holders are spread. Families are in amongst areas where you might get people who wanted to, and not that families don't want to sing, but where you get a group of blokes or girls or whatever that wanted to have a sing. So I think that doesn't help.
Talking, Bruce, were you part of the contingent who were being goaded by Kevin Von Veen that afternoon when you went up and gave it large in front of us? Was it you upsetting?
He was right in front of us, and there were a few. I mean, there's a few angry people that sit near me still, and I don't necessarily mean with the team, just with live.
They sit near you. Can you blame them?
But there are moments when the rest of the crowd stays silent and the lower Findon goes bonkers about something.
Yeah, they're usually shouting to me about you, Alex.
That's fair. That's
I must say, talking about crowds and everything, I'm quite surprised Bruce hasn't tried to blame the Southern Mariners for that. It's every
we are. Bruce is right. We are shit. We were shit at Colchester. Well, and Paul Bevan says something. It says if the team start well, the crowd will be up for it. Paul, there have been games like Dover, for example, last year where we hammered them 6-0. The crowd wasn't incredible. Like there are games when it just usually you need a spicy game that really gets it up, but Tom. That's probably why Tom doesn't talk about on the podcast anymore. But to manufacture an atmosphere, and I think that would have been the moment he left. You do need something a little bit more. I think we've talked about it before, but look, like Hannah, no disrespect to her, but if the pontoon was still terracing, she wouldn't sit with Aya, who's 3-4 years old, at the top in the middle of the pontoon, because that would never have been a place to take a little in. And Bruce is right. You've got people, everywhere scattered around. I think that space was an opportunity to do something. And I think, I don't know, we can't do it because we're not there, and we get told that enough. But there needs to be a group that gets together, whether it's an offshoot of the Mariners Trust or something that's grown organically, where they go, look, we don't want to call ourselves ultras, but we're there to create an atmosphere. And if you want to come along with us, here's our number, here's a WhatsApp group, get on it. This is where we'll be, blah, blah, blah. We'll meet at this pub and then go there and there. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know if this is controversial, but when I used to go there back as a kid, when I was living in Grimsby, to sort of my late teens, I don't think it was ever good, other than the odd game. I don't think it's ever been a place that's massively loud. I mean, it has its moments. So yeah, I agree, Alex. I think manufacturing, is a word, but I think you need to do everything to facilitate your crowd getting involved in a game, and sometimes it gives you that 5% extra. You're looking for the equalizer, you're looking for the winner. Now, if it was a better atmosphere against what game was it? One of the games where it was chasing and Smith missed a chance. I think it was the last game we played. That was things Swindon. Like that. Yeah, Swindon. So things like that can maybe give you that extra little bit to get that chance, put that chance away. So I think you're quite right. I don't think it's ever been particularly good, other than the odd game and the odd occasion in a game.
I remember sitting. Sorry, Sam. I remember sitting in the bottom of the pontoon, right in the middle, so like right behind the goal during the championship days, and getting told to sit down and shut the fuck up. Like, I remember being like in the middle of that, and there was, the pontoon is lives on its reputation. A bit like that video you see of the Anfield yesterday, with everyone going wild. By a gentle round of applause when they scored.
That really annoys me. That does. People who go to football and just film corners or film penalties. Just watch the game. You only remember things. You only remember it vicariously through.
Sam's going after Mariner Hodo now. What's this? Ollie's going to be on. Ollie's going to be 30 seconds. I'm waiting for it. We can count the delay now on the recording between now and when they get it.
And now when I get pilloried
for
people, I moaned about it on Twitter during the royal funeral, when people were at the. It just sort of gets on my nerves. Anyway, it's a little pet peeve of mine. I sound like my granddad now.
There we go. It's about a minute delay. There we are. So we know the time. What were you going to say, Bruce?
I think you've got a point, and but it's like any event that you go to, isn't it? I mean, I'm not a big music fan. As all my mates will tell you, my music choice is legendary. But
Taylor Swift.
It's about enjoying the moment and being organic. And again, going back to that organic word that you just mentioned, that the minute you start filming, you're not reacting in the same. If we score a goal, you're not reacting. Normally if we score a goal, you just go fucking mental. You don't look around at your mates and turn around to your other mates, and you end up hugging somebody that you don't even know. And I think the minute you start filming, you change the way that you're going to react if that moment happens.
Well said, Bruce.
Yeah,
I start a campaign here.
Have we ever had a person, Tom's taking a break? Have we ever had a person ousted, Alex, in the pod's history? Because Sam's 1 week in and he's making enemies.
I love it. I think it's great. Daniel Lewis wants to give you a hug, Fenners. I don't mind it. Sam can die on those hills. That's fine. I had what was the one I had? Scunny fans are slightly to blame for their relegation. I'll happily die on that hill as well. It's a generational thing. No right or wrong. It is, Stephen. You're wrong. I don't know who's right or not.
We'll agree to disagree.
I thought you were already forcing a favour.
Well,
that's all right. Right. I hate people who film corners, free kicks, penalties. I get it. Yeah, Lee, do you know what? I used to love them last season, though, because they helped me and Mike and everybody else who wasn't able to watch from the games in France. We weren't able to see the games. So they gave us the opportunity to actually see the goals every now and then before, Saturday afternoon the next week.
Yeah, we could see the game, but 3 weeks later, that's when we could see what had happened.
Yeah, but now Ryan Reynolds wants his highlights earlier. He gets them.
Yeah, Andrew Petty, that's a harsh lesson to learn, isn't it? When you're not as famous as Ryan Reynolds. But there we are. Bruce, what were you going to say? You're back.
I look on this video like a bit like Andrew sat in the dark, don't I, in a car?
I mean, this is the 13th highest dogging podcast.
We're going to end up getting our collars felt for the amount of people we have just in laybys on this podcast.
That was a good dog reference, that, Mike.
Hey.
Ollie, absolutely. Everyone banned on filming apart from designated content creators. Absolutely. We'll hand out the passes. Look, so we've got a couple of things we can talk about as well. So Bruce, I don't know if you mentioned, but Ryan Reynolds
is signing at centre half.
Ryan Bennett is rumoured. What do you think about that?
I wonder if Hursty, obviously that's it. I think that situation's been bubbling away all summer, hasn't it? So it's always been a potential if you could get things sorted out at Swansea, and the doubters doubted, and I heard it second hand, almost from the horse's mouth that if he could get something sorted, he wants to be around here. His family around here now. So if that is the case, I'm not surprised. It does leave us top heavy. I mean, how are we contract wise with the centre halves? I mean, Sean Pearson, bless him, his contract will be up in the summer, won't it? I'm guessing, however you pronounce Niall's surname, he's got a 2-year deal. He got a 2-year deal in the summer, I'm guessing.
Yeah, Waterfall got the 2 years to go, and Smith's only loaned till the end of the season.
Obviously, Smith might move up next year, mightn't he? They might want him to play at a higher level, and hopefully
he's going up with us.
I was going to say, hopefully move town in League One, but if not, but he must almost feel like a Grimsby player now. He's basically played his entire professional career with us.
Well, he might have a recall clause, and they're going to have a new manager. So I wouldn't be too optimistic if he has got a recall clause if he's here after the summer, after the winter.
Yeah, but to be fair, Mar has looked pretty good to me. From what I've seen, very composed on the ball. He grew into the game yesterday quite a lot. So Smith going back would be disappointing, yeah, but it wouldn't be a kind of what are we going to do now, lads? It wouldn't be like if the kind of. But that's one thing I should have said when. The only player we are susceptible to an injury is Crocombe and Taylor. I thought that might have been shown yesterday how fundamental Taylor is to the way we play. I've been banging that drum on Twitter and the fishy. I'm not telling you I'm on the fishy.
I thought we played all right without him.
Yeah, but we had to change the way we played, didn't we? We couldn't play the way we normally played without Ryan, so we had to change formation. Well, the two things are probably not interlinked, but equally, he is fundamental to our success.
Yeah, I thought we played all right, and I think there are times when Taylor
in that formation. I agree, but I'm with you, Alex. I think if we play a different game, we've got younger. I rate Taylor. I'm not saying anything that he shouldn't be the team or anything like that. But if we do not have him, we've struggled because we've tried to play somebody else up there playing that role that can't do it. But like Alex said, it appeared yesterday that we had the likes of Khan and Richardson and people with a bit of pace, and we can drive at people a little bit more. Whereas if we don't get people in and around Taylor, he often ends up very isolated when we play that other formation.
Oh yeah, if you're going to play with Taylor, you've got to get midfielders running beyond him and wingers near to him. What you'd absolutely love is a 28-year-old Craig Disley getting beyond him into the box. But we can but dream.
It's and then I guess the other thing that we can talk about first and foremost as well. We'll just go back because Simon was plenty of people. I think everybody does, and I think there is a difference as well between people who do it as a long-term thing, like stupid people who do podcasts. Then just when there's a corner, everybody gets their phone out, and it's that age-old picture of the Pope when they were being announced like 2 years apart, no phones out, and then loads of phones out. I guess the other thing as well that we can talk about is Matty Taylor now is front and centre for the Rotherham job. Hurst has done the thing. He made sure we got hammered a couple of times, so he wasn't in line for the role. All good now, isn't it? All normal. No worries about him scooting off to whatever that place is in Rotherham. I don't even know what's the point of it.
Until we find out.
Hang on.
Down the shop.
Hang on, I'm from Rotherham. Stop it.
I got a bike, Bruce.
It's a lovely place near Meadowall. That's all it is.
It's just a bit of a car park for Meadowall that got out of hand.
You'll be upsetting my auntie here listening to this.
Look, auntie, I'm sorry, but Rotherham, it doesn't need a football club. Let's be honest. You got Sheffield, you got them around you. You don't need another one. You didn't even have a football. Yeah, sorry, you didn't need one. All you're famous for is the Chucker Brothers, which is nothing wrong with that. Bruce, what were you going to say? I saw you unmuting.
I can't even remember, mate. I was just chatting to the driver, making sure the driver's still all right. Like I say, he's not had a lot of sleep. We've just turned on to the M18.
Oh, here we go. God, do you know what? This is a good advert for the M62's phone signal.
Yeah, pretty good, isn't it? Yeah, it's cut out a couple of times, but generally it's been good. It was strangely, I was on 5G up on Saddleworth, whether I'm near one of the masts or nearer to, I don't know, but yeah.
Is this now a thing? Because we had him at the cricket club on his 4G the other week, and now we've got him down the M62. Are we looking for sponsorship from some sort of telephone company about their signal? And we're just sending Bruce around the country.
No, we're being sponsored by Ubers.
we haven't got bloody Uber, have we, in Grimsby? But
do you not?
I'm not doing that.
Does no one have Ubers? Hang on, what, Bruce? Does no one have Uber in Grimsby?
We don't have Uber. It's not available.
They don't have it in Hull either. Sadly, I went to university in Hull, but they don't have it there.
Why don't you have Uber? Surely one bloke could just, add themselves to it and make a fortune.
Is it a bit franchise?
I don't know.
Maybe. Oh, what one guy? Yeah, well, I see what you mean. One driver, yeah.
Uber Eats, but no Uber. Oh, right. I know Grimsby was the first place that had a Burger King that delivered food.
But we have a pizza. But we have a Pizza Hut that doesn't.
Don't we?
Or it didn't used to.
Is that the Pizza Hut in town centre? It's probably the only restaurant going, isn't it? Still?
Are we in the last 10 minutes? The last 10 minutes of a pod again, talking about food.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Okay.
How did we bring that round?
Favorite Indian.
the Agra.
The Agra. I always quite like the one on Bradley Crossroads. That was good.
Oh yeah, it was a tandoori. What's it called? Something. Yeah.
Probably Bradley Crossroads.
Tandoori.
Yeah, Bradley Crossroads. Tandoori. Ben's saying the Agra. Bruce, what service have you been to? What services have you been to? I don't think you stopped yet, Ollie. Bangor Village Barton. Daniel, you can't say that's Grimsby.
Can I tell you that one of the best places to get food it's the salt beef bagel shop on Brick Lane.
I mean, that's exactly like a TikToker would say, isn't it?
Is that Sutton away sorted? How far is that, Mike?
Well, Brick Lane's a long way, and I've never seen a bagel shop for miles and miles and miles. And on Brick Lane, there is two right next door to each other.
They don't open on Saturday, though, do they?
A bagel?
Yeah, like a salt beef bagel. Yeah, it's awesome, mate.
That bagel shop doesn't open on a Saturday, does it? It's a Sabbath.
Is that like a southern kebab?
It was open at 4:00 on a Sunday morning once. It was open on Saturday.
Yeah, that's fine. It's open every other time, but I don't think it's open on Saturday. It's the Jewish Sabbath.
You'd wander around after 8 pints and think I fancy a bagel.
Mate, don't knock it until you've tried it. Honestly, don't knock it.
Lee is getting banned for saying Omar bagel.
You've been down to. We need to have a pod night out, don't we? You boys, we need to plan a home game that suits you, and we'll see if we can fill a restaurant. We'll have a few beers, and we'll go out. We'll sponsor it.
How about Nice? Me and Alex are there quite a lot on a Saturday. Or Bordeaux.
Yeah.
I was in Amsterdam yesterday.
Did you have fun?
There's the Frog in Bordeaux. That's an English pub, which is genuine.
The Frog.
Sarah says Miller's at Waltham Windmill. Nice to see you, Sarah. I haven't talked to you for ages. Callum has gone KFC. Come on, Callum. We've got to find you something better to eat than that.
That's a cop
That's
out.
not. Yeah. The Bagel Company in Grimsby. We could make a load of money on that. Me Too Raj, Ben says. I don't know what are the other ones.
Nice. That's
Is
nice.
it?
Me Too Raj is nice.
Let's have a look. Hang on.
It used to be right next door to the Sonogaron, didn't it? Or Sonic, whatever it's called. And there was two next door to you. You always used to wonder how they got by, but two places like that where there's two next door to each other.
Right, guys, I've got a new game. Top 10 curry places in Grimsby. Bruce, and anybody on, can anyone name them without Google? Don't cheat. Agra is number one.
So I'm retiring from this.
Can I just say, I've not lived in Grimsby for 10 years.
Is it Grimsby and Cleethorpes?
Yeah, Grimsby and Cleethorpes. So whatever TripAdvisor is. So the Agra is number one.
All right. Spice of Life.
Spice of Life is number 8.
Oh. Me Too Raj.
Me Too Raj is number 4. Hang on, people are going on. The barge was great. You can do the eating on it.
Can't remember what the one is on the spike next to the library on the corner.
The Ala Im.
Somebody will tell us.
The Ala. Where's the on Cromwell Road? No,
that's the former owner, isn't it?
I don't know. No. Jamal's is number 5.
Do you know, it isn't 10 years, it's 15 years. The curry places that were there when I was there won't be there now.
Eastern, yes, true. Eastern Delight. Eastern Delight is number 10. Number 2 is the one in Holton Clay, Bruce.
Oh, okay.
What the fuck is happening?
Holton Clay's not in Grimsby or Cleethorpes. So
that'll do. It's in the area. It's fine. It's all right.
It's closer than Barton. It's closer than Barton.
That's true. So here you go, Bruce. Here are the top 10s. Count them down if you've got them.
Can you do like the top 10 countdown? Like in at number 10, we've got.
No, but I will find it and we'll do it next time. We'll do Chinese's next time. The Agra is number 1. Then Ali's Indian in restaurant and takeaway in Holton Clay. The Millers in Waltham, I guess. Me Too Raj is 4th. Jamal is 5th. Nawab's. Then Shahi Mahal takeaway. Spice of Life is 8. New Waltham Tandoori is 9. And Eastern Delights is 10.
And number 11 is Bradley Crossroads Tandoori.
We could get sponsored. Perhaps we should be.
I wouldn't mind that.
Sponsorship and then plug a place every week on the pod.
Yes, yeah. Hey, I tell you something. I mean, me and Mike would be disappointed, as would Sam. Actually, the food would be rather cold when it got to us. But if they want to send you a curry or something, can you?
But I'd be fat, wouldn't I? I'll fat when I think.
Yeah, you got to get up to me and Mike's weight, fighting weight.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it, mate.
Just apart from when you go up the stairs.
Yeah, or down the stairs, or get up,
or look at the stairs,
or just stand there doing nothing. Yeah.
You should see me rolling out of bed on a Tuesday morning after I've played football on a Monday night. Nowadays, it's like I say, it's not a get out of bed; it's sort of roll out. The legs don't work
Stephen,
very well.
Be more professional. That's right, Stephen.
Who said that?
No, Stephen. What is happening?
What is happening? I mean, we are unprofessional. It's absolutely true. We'll do. I'll do a whole. Actually, hang on. We didn't do the preview thing anyway, did we? For Entitled. Hang on.
Behind, so that's the final action of the game, which means Grimsby Town are back in the Football League just a year after those awful scenes.
Are you absolutely sure that guy's wasn't a robot? Like no name and no.
What, an
video?
NFT? It was an NFT fan AI experience.
Yeah, I think it was AI, whatever it's called. Yeah.
It could be. I mean, he did better than the Salford lad.
I wonder how he is today, if he's been anywhere else, because he was quite chuffed he'd been to Scunthorpe once, hasn't he?
He was very happy that he went to Scunthorpe.
Oh, been to Scunthorpe.
Good on you. He's still here. And he says he's not a robot. He's in the little private chat we have during the games. Stephen McDade says we need to, next week is top 10 chippies in Woking. Stephen, from experience, there is not a top 10 chippies in Woking. There is one decent chippy in the whole of Woking. The rest are dog shit.
I And I'm not having the peer in as a chippy in Grimsby and Cleethorpes either. That's if we have that debate, I don't count that.
Ollie asked an actual question.
To me.
Ollie asked an actual question as well. He says, "What's happening with the pod kickabout?" We will sort it out then, Ollie. We do have we've got it already. I will ask Ian what we want to do with it, and we'll get something sorted. If we set like 5 sessions or something like that, and then we'll go from there. We'll do a bit of a drum roll with it, but it's probably best if we get it done now instead of, because let's be honest, that money is sat in my bank account like Father's Ted, and British Gas will take it before I blink.
Just rest.
Yeah, exactly. Just resting in my account and wondering why I can still have my lights on. We'll
sort it out. My poster gets collected.
Never then.
One Pizza Express. Ben, behave.
Stephen's got a good idea next week. Top 10 chippies in Woking. You'll be all right with that, wouldn't you, Alex?
I've just talked about it. There isn't any good ones.
I wasn't listening to you.
That's fair. There isn't any. Have we missed anything, gents? Have we missed anything worth talking about?
Oh, we've got the fans forum on Friday, haven't we?
Oh, yeah.
There's the Papa John's debacle.
Oh, Papa John's. What are your thoughts, Sam?
Me? No. I think it's morally wrong that that basically Manchester City's under 11s or whatever they are can flex their muscles and tell us what to do. We've already got a game book then. I think we should be able to sort it out for ourselves. I would like to point out that I know one person who's very happy with this, my auntie, who was meant to be on a cruise when the original Crew game was meant to be called on. She's much happier she's in that game now, and she can go to the Crew home game that she's already paid for. So there you go. I said I'd mention it for you, Vic. I've done my due. So.
Honestly, what an absolute fucking liberty that is. You know, I can't believe when I read that because of an under-23 team, we're going to change a Football League fixture. And the very fact, I think the Trust did really well in their letter they sent. But then the EFL come back and say, oh, yeah, it's against the rules, but rules are only rules until we say they're not. Like, it just...
Very FIA.
I think I described it as a massification of football, didn't I?
Yeah, it's very FIA. And I mean, I'm quite laid back with this sort of thing. And I've not been massive. I'm against the Papa Johns, but I'm not as massively against as some people are. But that has absolutely infuriated me and convinced me that this competition is only geared up to helping those teams, those under-23 teams. Just because you farm all your players out to foreign leagues to get experience, don't be changing Football League standard games because you can't put a squad out. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Look at the Super League. Look at them. Look at the project big picture. Look at this is what they want to do. They want to rip up the fabric of the game, which is why it was such an ill judged by the previous regime and whoever was in there to let them come in, because this is what they're going to do. They don't even pretend to care about the game. They can say all these. Todd Bowley can talk about our North feet South to raise money for the lower leagues. No, that's complete rubbish, and yet people like Fenty bought into that kind of complete claptrap. But as demonstrated by the things I mentioned, they want to take out all elements of risk in English football, and they see the pyramid as something that is a threat to them.
Yeah. I mean, things like that, when the veil slips, it shows that it's the thin end of the wedge. What is more important to the EFL? It's not that a professional football team plays its games when it can. It's that, no, we move our core fixtures around to complement an under-23s team. That's when the veil slips and you can see it. And I'm really annoyed by it. So there you go. They can get in the bin, do one.
I agree. Conflict of interest, though, as previously stated.
Do we want to do top 10 Chineses now? I agree.
Mentioned it.
Yeah, no. And Sam brought it up, and he's right, because it's it is a massive piss take. It's, that is a game in which people will actually travel to attend. Crew fans will sort out their travel to get here and sort it out. We know how bloody pain in the arse that is to sort of move things around at this moment in time. And Ollie, I'm not doing 3 worst chippies. We, again, as we've said, we don't have a lawyer, and
they don't want the one that I know.
Yeah, especially Papa's. But that is shit. But it's just, I don't understand why, in terms of, you've got fans actually going to that game. Man City won't do unless you're someone who lives local and will come to it. They've got 83 players on their books in terms of first team. I mean, granted, I don't want Haaland to necessarily start, but Waterfall will put him in the bin. And, They've got their elite team and then their youth team. If you can't cobble together a team of 83 from that, then there's no point in doing it. And there was also in a moment as well, when you talk about the veil slipping, there was that game in which Dean Henderson, who was with us at the time, couldn't play because he was on international duty. So it's not like this hasn't happened before. And to put that over there, if Man City can't fulfill the fixture, then they should be out. That's simple as.
Do you know, I would seriously send Ben Davies down to Cheapside with the youth team and say, no, we can fulfill the fixture on the same day. You know, you want to play your under 23s, we'll play our under 23s and take the 10 grand fine or whatever it is and not move our fixture. But it was a good letter by the trust, that is quite clear. And I would highly doubt the club have got any choice in this. So it isn't like a thing about that. It's the EFL and the club and the trust and everybody won't have had any choice in that at all.
I think we should just, you see how much money Crawley are making from everything. Let's do this. If you want to play in the game, it's 10 grand a pop. You can play right back, left back, whatever you want. We'll put all the money together. We'll give it to charity, or we'll use it to buy a striker, and that's what we'll do. You got what 10 grand a pop? That's what 110 grand for the first 11.
Easy.
Bang on,
easy.
2.5 grand if you want to be a substitute. There you go. Job's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. If it's Hurst's manager, you're not getting on.
You could be manager.
Oh, fucking hell. Anyone who's seen me playing FIFA for the first time in years today would know that's not a good idea.
All Alex would do is stand there shouting, "The ref, you shit," and get a massive klaxon with it.
I want an actual klaxon. That'd be amazing. Fedders, what were you going to say, Bruce?
Be like Mike Bassett. It'd be like Mike Bassett, wouldn't it, with you swearing away on the touchline?
Yeah. We're 4-0 down to the fucking Mexicans.
Benson and Edges up front.
Who's this Madry bloke?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what we should do. But I mean, Bruce, we haven't discussed it, but what's the oldest full-length game do you have that we could watch from beginning to end?
I can't remember what I told you. I've been on the piss all weekend, haven't I? Which game did I say it was?
Was it Charlton?
There's a Charlton from the early 80s, yeah, away, but it was a defeat to 0, so it'll probably be more interesting than the Papa John's. But I know you've all had your say on that, but I do think that with the lack of reserve football that there is these days, there is a place for that competition, but just without the under 23s.
Yeah.
I still think that competition is important as an opportunity for younger players in our clubs, in the league clubs, to get a game. Because have you heard anything about reserve games this season yet? And we're now into October. I haven't seen their fixture list. But where are the players that we've got quite a big squad now? Where are the players that aren't getting a game? Where are they getting their football?
Yeah, but on the point about the competition itself, it's how we got to Wembley for the first time. It's how we got to the new Wembley for the first time. It's a competition that we've had success in, and us, Grimsby Town per se, have had 2 or 3 really good runs in it. So it is a good competition, barring the fact that it's got this kind of this elephant in the room, which are these under 23 teams. I don't think there is a reserve. We barely had a free Tuesday, to be fair, or a free midweek, have we? So to arrange a reserve game.
Especially we got Crawley on Tuesday.
I don't even know what reserve league we're in. Like I say, I've just not seen anything about the reserves this season.
No.
Obviously, I've not got a good internet at the minute, but if anyone can find the reserves league, then let me know when we're playing, because it used to be good, didn't it? You could go down. They used to play them on a night time, didn't they? I mean, they're obviously not going to this year with the price of everything, but you used to get free entry with a season ticket, didn't you, back in the day?
Yeah. They used to be on Tuesday afternoons. I remember it was my introduction into football. My granddad used to take me. I remember some of the games quite clearly when I was 4 or 5.
2000 in the main stand for Ivano Benetti against Middlesbrough.
Yeah. Didn't it stop with COVID? I don't know, Daniel. Maybe.
Maybe.
Right. We're going to wrap it up because I'm going to go play FIFA, apparently. But I need a drink. Gents, it has been a pleasure. Bruce has gone. Oh no, he's still here. Mike's gone.
I'm the dark one in the corner.
Okay.
Be careful when you say that.
All right, baby. No one put you in the corner. Mike's back. Mike, we're going.
I needed a wee. All right then, mate.
What? Hang on. Whoa. Why did you turn your camera off?
I don't know.
He's away there. He's got a Lenore bottle. He's got a Lenore bottle, hasn't he?
He's
I
got the
didn't want
New
you to
York
see.
taxi driver thing. Yeah. Oh God. Right. That's it. Sam, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
Anytime. Mike, pleasure as always.
Cheers, mate. Get better soon. I'm worried about you.
I'm all right. I'm just
Yeah,
tired.
don't come and give me that bug though that you've got.
Well, as long as you're not at the export control joint unit thing on Tuesday, you'll be fine.
No, trust me, I won't be there.
I tell you, the life you live, mate. The export, what?
Yeah, but yeah, defense stuff. But people from work actually listen to this now, so I've got to be careful.
Okay. Serious stuff. Okay, got you.
Yeah, serious stuff. Yeah, if I'm involved, it's definitely serious. It's not just, just send Alex. Yeah, great. Well, pleasure to everybody. We'll do Chinese's to next week or something. So no Googling TripAdvisor, and we'll go from there. Bruce, pleasure. Enjoy it. I hope you had a nice time in Bilbao, and we'll speak to you all very shortly. See you later. Guys, bye.
Adios.
For some soccer!
And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.
They've done it! They've done it! It's Maguire Drew! They've done it again, this team!
Grimsby are heading back to the Football League.
Love it.